Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jalen, and it's been a long time, my friends. I can't believe it's been this long since I made a YouTube video. And I don't like really know why it happened. I do, but I didn't mean to take this break, I guess, but I think I sort of needed one. And today I was just realizing that like I need to make the video that I promised I would make like a month ago that I've been procrastinating about. So anyways, I'm here to do a catch-up video, talk about what I've been reading, what my life has been like lately. Yeah, I am trying to not put pressure on myself to make this video any sort of way. Had some anxiety about coming back to the channel, so it's going to be a very chatty, rambly little video. And like my plans for the channel and for like my podcast, I still don't know exactly what I want to do, but I'm just going to talk through it here. Maybe you all can help me about, I don't know, direction or finding a balance with all of this. I don't know. I could use some insight here, but I definitely missed you all. And like YouTube has been my number one favorite thing that I've ever like created overall. Like the people on here that watch my channel that engage with me about books, like I miss it so much and I feel like I need it as a reader and I need this outlet. So I'm very happy to be back. I hope I can post somewhat regularly, but I'm not going to tie myself to any sort of like schedule or anything. I'm just going to come on when I have something to say, which is hopefully more frequently than has been in recent months, I guess. So last year I had a career change. I landed my dream job at Penguin Random House, and it's been almost 1 year since I've started there, which is wild. I feel like I just made my video talking about that change and letting you all know about it. I feel like I made it like yesterday. Like I don't really feel like I took a break. Like I feel like I was just doing that, but it's also because it's just been a really busy year of just like learning and all of that. So I will say as an update on all of that, I know many of you asked me about like how that's going, what I think about publishing, and I absolutely love it. I'm still in the kind of pinch me, I'm dreaming phase of my job of where I have been sitting in author meetings with authors that I've like adored before, and now I'm working on their next book, and I'm just like, how is this my life? I'm working on books that are exactly like what I would be rooting for and like talking about on my YouTube channel already or asking to be in my podcast. Like I'm working on these books as my career now, which is just so wild to me that like I still cannot believe it and I'm still in awe and I just want to just like really, I don't know. Like I see myself being here for a long time, hopefully, and I just love it so much. And my team is incredible. I adore it so much. And I'll get into more of what's going on that front in a bit. But yeah, overall, it's been excellent. And I think part of the reason why I took a break on this channel is because, so when I started the job, I was still like doing my podcast. And at the time, I was trying to do like a weekly episode to see if that would like help boost the podcast growth, because I know like podcasts are supposed to have a regular cadence. And so I was really trying to do like a once a week author interview kind of thing. And I just realized that that's not sustainable for me, but I do love my podcast. And then with doing YouTube, like doing that, meaning the podcast, it was hard to find a balance for all of it. And also just being a new employee in a new job. And that's also just book related. I was just a little bit like, this is like something I need to pull back a little bit. And I decided, I think, subconsciously that I needed to maybe pull back on content creation to really focus on my job to then figure out like what I want to do with this platform and like how I want to create content. But I still really miss it because I feel like it informs so much about like how I read, how I think about books, how I find what I want to read next. And just having an outlet to like talk to myself and tell you all about stuff is just really fun. And yeah, so I think that's why I took the break, and I'm feeling a little bit better. I'm almost a year in, and so like I'm still learning a ton, and I'm like, about to be in a really busy summer of publishing. So I'm never not gonna be busy, and I really just miss this as a way of being creative personally, and just like I don't know, I just miss like there's some aspects of my selfhood tied into this that I feel like I just kind of have missed lately. So I need to come back, I feel like, which I feel like if you have that compulsion, then that is like the time to do it when I didn't have that compulsion before. So anyways, it's all been great. And I will say like the one negative to the job so far is also it's a pro and a con. One is that I'm in Arizona, so I don't so I get the benefit of like working from home here, and I'm not in New York, which I don't know if I would necessarily want to live there, but I do miss out on like a lot of just like literary culture and like events and going to stuff and meeting authors in person and working with my team in person. Like I don't really get that experience, which has been really like just hard and I don't know, kind of annoying at times when I wish I could be there to just be more immersed in the literary world. I feel like I'm a little bit at a remove. That is one thing that I hope I can maybe go to New York some more and like, I don't know, be more part of the New York, I don't know, literary scene, I guess, or whatever. And just being a part of events and all of that. So, and otherwise, I'm just, trying to be easy on myself. And I've learned that my perfectionist streak has been getting to me a little bit. And I've been trying to just be easier on myself and just try to like learn as much as possible and just, I don't know, kind of like be more like relaxed and less anxious about everything, including this channel, including doing a podcast, including making Bookstagram content. Like I'm just trying to find a way to like chill out, because I will jump in here and say that I've been really inspired by some other booktubers that have been on here that make content that I adore. And I'm realizing like the way that I view my own creation, or like I need to stop putting pressure on myself to like do a certain thing or like be a certain kind of creator, because I'm not doing this for like a certain thing, or I'm not trying, I don't know, like I want this to be a document of my reading and a sense of community. And like, for example, Ben Green, he's recently been doing like videos where he just like opens up I think photo booth on his laptop and he's just like talking, and that's the video. And I'm like I love that. It's so simple. It's just connection. It doesn't have to be this thing, so I'm hoping I can like adopt that, and it's made me feel a little bit more like assured and chill about coming back here. So, and one other thing I'll say about my job is I'm looking at a stack of books like underneath my desk of books that I've worked on, books that are coming out soon. I shared the stack that I'm looking at on my Instagram recently. Maybe I'll put a picture in here. I don't feel like grabbing them because it's a pretty big stack, but since the books that I'm working on are so tied to like what I love and like this channel, I want to find a way of talking about them that is of course like telling you that I'm working on them. So that is a tie there. So maybe like twice a year, like doing like books I worked on in the first half of the year, and then at the end of the year do like a second half books that I worked on, and just to let you know about them if you missed them, or just put them on your radar. And just, I don't know, I think it'd be a fun way of like documenting my work as well, and just letting you all know like campaigns that I've been a part of. I think that'd be fun. But let me know if you have like a different idea about that, or if, I don't know, it feels like not right to put them in like my wrap-ups when I'm reading them, because often I'm also reading books that are coming out in 2025 now that don't have covers, and so it's not like, and then you can't buy them yet. You can pre-order them, but it's just like so early that it doesn't feel right. So I just need to find a way of like doing that. But there, like, again, that's me like being overthinky, like who cares. But I do like to have like a system or like a way of doing it that feels productive. I don't know. Aside from that, what I've been doing, in my personal life, my free time, so I've been working, and then I've been like working out a lot more and exercising. So there are some friends of mine who were working at the gym at my last job. They were personal trainers, and they were at the time of me getting this job, they were about to open their own business. And so like we both kind of had like our dreams kind of like coming true at the same time. And so their business opened last summer, and I've been going like all the time. And so I've always loved like spin, and they have a spin studio now, and I've been doing some more like weightlifting and stuff there. So it's been really fun, and just a new like structure to my day is like, I don't know, fitting that in all the time. And I've really just enjoyed that as a way of like managing my anxiety and like my mental health. There's always like at the end of every class, there's like a meditation session, which has been really nice, which I've never really meditated before. So yeah, I don't know, it's just a new thing for me to like exercise more and just to make that like a priority in my everyday life. So that's what I've been doing as well. It's like my new thing that's like not reading that I've been like really getting into. So I've been doing that, but I am planning a trip this summer. I'm going to Berlin, Prague, Munich, and Frankfurt. So if you have any recs, let me know. But that is coming in July, so I'm really excited for that. Oh, I should say that like as a part of my job in October, I went to New York and I visited the Penguin Random House offices, which was like one of the most wild weeks of my life, because I finally got to meet so many people that I've known even before I had this job that I now work with, and then just people I'd been working with for a couple of months. And I got to see like the lobby of PRH and like be there and like work in the office and be in meetings there. It was just like it like made it feel real finally in a sense, because I was like really doing it there. So that was like the one trip that I've had that was like mind blowing, and just like I still can't believe that I'm there. Like, I don't know. I'll let you watch my other video where I talk about like why being in this job means so much to me and how I never thought it was possible, but I still am just like pinching myself every day. And I think that's also why I've been trying to like just give myself some time to like process all of this and figure out, now that I'm in publishing, like what does that mean for me as a creator, because it's a little different now because I'm a professional like in the field, so I need to find a way of like doing things that feels right but still is true to me. I don't know, so I'm trying to find that balance too. So next I'm going to segue into my podcast. I need all of your help with this because my podcast, Reading the Room, which is also part of this YouTube channel, was an author interview series, or is an author interview series that was one of the most like formative things that I've ever done. One of like probably like my most proudest little project that I've ever done, because I've met some of my all-time favorite authors: Ottessa Moshfegh, Sheila Heti, Jonathan Franzen, Brandon Taylor. They've all come on the pod, and like getting outside of my comfort zone, as I'm a quite like shy person, and like meeting my idols and trying to have a intellectual, rigorous conversation about their work and what their like literature means and how they think about it and how we as readers respond to that is just, it just means the world to me, and I've really missed doing it. But I've just had a hard time figuring out like how to do it in a way that feels right, or like the cadence of posting of the interviews. I'm trying to figure it out, but I've been thinking about this since the beginning of the year. My last interview was with Sheila Heti. Crazy. Like, cannot believe it. Like, that was wild. And she said yes, and I had to do it. I was like kind of in the break, but I was like, no, like we're doing the Heti interview. Like, are you kidding? Did that, and I want to come back. I just don't know how. And I was recently blown away by a shout out in The Guardian. There was like this online books guide to basically like great book things on the internet that the author of the article, Ella Creamer, she compiled this list, including the likes of like Dua Lipa's book club, George Saunders' Substack, Brandon Taylor's Substack, my podcast, which was part of it, which I was like, there's a good number of like book podcasts out there, and to see like mine be recognized in that way is just like my own little like thing that I've done. Like, I'm an independent show. I just ask authors to come on, hope they'll come on, and I post it myself. I'm not part of any network or anything. So I don't know, it's just so crazy to see like something that's just like me being a nerd be recognized in that way. And I was like, I need to get back to doing this. Like, I just need to get over my like nervousness about doing it and just find a way that makes sense. And if it's maybe posting once a month, fine. If it's every other week, that's great. If it's less, like whatever. Like, if it's just the authors, if it's 12 a year, that's once a month actually. I just realized if it's less than once a month, or if it's 6 authors a year, that's fine. Like, it can be a part of my channel, it can be a part of what I do, like I'm trying to just like reorient my thoughts around being a person on the internet, which is really hard though, because like I've been on it for a while, and now that I'm like in the world of it, I don't know. I'm rambling now, but I'm trying to figure out how to do it. I want to come back. There are authors that I would love to have on. Yeah, there's been some books that have come out that like I wish I had asked authors to come on, and I'm sure I still can. But I don't know. I just want to make sure that I do it in a way that's sustainable, that makes sense. So yeah, let me know if you have any thoughts about the pod or anything. And I used to do like a book club too, which I kind of miss, but it's another like commitment in my reading schedule, which I feel like might not be the best for me right now. So I don't know. I'm thinking about doing all of that, but I have read a good number of books this year that I haven't shared with you all. If you follow me on Bookstagram, I am like generally more active there. I find it an easier way of just like posting things quickly without sitting down for 30 minutes to an hour to commit myself to something. So instead I was gonna like go through all the books that I've read so far this year, but I feel like that could be a separate video. Maybe I'll just give you like the top 3, like my 3 favorites that I've read. I need to pull up my list really quick. I've read, I think, 23 books so far this year. And that's not including like books that I read for work as well that are coming out like next year. So it's more than that, but I don't count those like in this. This is like my personal reading that I've just done on my own, even though I would have read those books in the future as a not professional. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's why this is like confusing. Then again, I'm an overthinker. Like, you read the book, just talk about it. But like, I still feel like weird about doing it when I'm working on it, because it's like I'm working on it. Do you know what I mean? Like, does that make does that make sense, or am I just being an overthinker? I don't know. Let me know. But okay, this is like the worst book for me to like come back to you all with, because I I'm still wrapping my head around it. I need to like reread it before I can actually say something about it, I feel like. But it's Parade by Rachel Cusk. I read this back in February, and okay, so I often have said books are like, this broke my brain. It is big brain energy. This book is so smart. Rachel Cusk is a genius in the past. I've said this. This book is Rachel Cusk at her most Cusk, at her most form breaking, at her most ambitious and intellectual, and pushing the form of the novel the furthest that I think she ever has. And it was so brilliant. I will say that this book, to me, when I first read it, it is essentially a book that is told in 4 different parts, which I feel like is a theme that's going on in contemporary literature. For example, Trust by Hernan Diaz is like the one that won the Pulitzer, of telling a novel in 4 parts that kind of changes your perspective as you get to each part, and it kind of comments on the prior story that you read. This one's doing something similar in that we have an artist named G, who is a different artist in each of the 4 stories. They're all named G, so it kind of switches the character there, and they're all different narratives, but they're all commenting on womanhood, motherhood, art making, the self, identity, and applying those to form, and breaking all of that apart in narrative. There are many different characters and storylines that are interconnected here, but it's a hard book to completely distill in one, clean line, I feel like, other than kind of mentioning its form and how it kind of breaks down. I feel like this book is best described as an experience. The sentences, otherworldly, I must say. I mean, reading Cusk is just like, it's a different, she's right here, that is Mother right here. She operates at a different like wavelength, in my opinion. When I read her books, there's something that different going on in my brain. Like it's a singular feeling, and this book was the most singular that I've read by her, and I feel like I need to read it one more time to come back to you all to talk about it in a better way. I'll probably do like an individual book review of this book. Like, I've been compelled to go back to it because I hadn't really ever read something exactly like that book, and it was really refreshing to feel so like challenged and questioning what I was reading, and seeing Cusk, who's known to sort of push the novel's form and push it like even beyond the Outline trilogy, for example. And now I'm like, what is she going to do next? Like, I can't even wrap my mind around what she could even do next because of what she did with this book. So anyways, that is Parade. It's incredible. It comes out in June, I believe June 18th. I don't have a pub date in front of me, but it comes in June. And I highly recommend you read it if you like her work in the past, or if you like, the most ambitious of literary fiction that is truly like, it's not no plot, just vibes, because there is plot. I kind of hate that phrase of like no plot, because like most books that people say don't have a plot, like they do have plot. It's just, I think the true like no plot, just vibes book is Alphabetical Diaries by Sheila Heti. Like, unless a book is doing that, like you can't say it doesn't have plot, because even that book kind of has plot with like some of the characters and the through lines there. Like, I don't know. Anyways, next up, top 3 I've read so far this year is Brat by Gabriel Smith. This one also comes out in June. I believe this one's June 4th. This one is a literary horror autofiction novel, that is me, literary horror autofiction. Like, that is the Jalen way, I must say. This one is a haunted house novel that is exploring grief in writing and plays with form significantly, and different storytelling techniques, different forms in itself to tell the story, different writings, and compiles it from a fictional narrator named Gabriel, who is writing the novel that we're reading, and he's also grappling with grief and living in this house, and also the narrator's skin may or may not be falling off. And the entire thing is told in this very clipped and simple and precise prose, to the extent that like the pages of this book just fly, like you're just flying through it. But there's this like creepy immersion that's going on, and also like this ambitiousness in the form of it and how the story's told. And like, it's very deceptively simplistic, I think, and how it's so easy to read, but there's so much going on and so many layers to this book that it really kind of creeped me out. But it's also very funny and very, I think, contemporary in its telling. So I just had a lot of fun with this one, and it's like very up my alley in that front. And I've been describing this, putting my marketer's hat on, as like Hereditary, the movie, meets Death in Her Hands, the book, which is like maybe my favorite book of all time, by Ottessa Moshfegh, meets, autofiction, and putting it all in a blender. And that is what it is. So keep an eye out for that one. Okay, I was gonna do 3, I'm gonna do 5. Sorry about it. Classic me, I cannot decide on my favorite books. Okay, so 3 more. So I reread No Judgment by Lauren Euler. I love her, as has been well documented on this channel. I love this collection, and it was really interesting seeing the response to it and the critical takes. I don't know if, I'm assuming if you're watching my channel, you've probably seen some of the attempted takedowns of this book and the discourse around it, and it's too much to get into here. But I think this book is excellent, and I think the response to it is really interesting and obvious on many levels, and quite frankly annoying. I thought this was so much fun. I've been really excited for this essay collection from her for years now, and so I was really thrilled to get her takes on Berlin, autofiction, Goodreads, anxiety, vulnerability, gossip, spoilers, and just seeing her kind of work through these ideas in the essay form, which is what she was kind of became, famous for, was really fun. And I think this book is absolutely worth your time. And so I had to quickly defend Queen Lauren Euler because that was wild. Like I was truly blown away by that response. I don't know. I would like to, unpack that further, which is why I wish the pod would come back, because I need to when it was happening, I was like, CJ and I need to get on a pod and talk about what's going on here, because this is wild. And I didn't do it because I was not podding at the time, but anyways, so that is that. And then 2 more books. One is a novel, one is a short story collection. The first one is Practice by Rosalind Brown. This one also comes out in June from FSG, and I loved this book. It is essentially a book told over the course of one day, following a student at Oxford in 2009, and the book is told in these various quick vignettes over the course of this one day, following a student as she tries to write an essay about Shakespeare's sonnets. And so we're very much in her body and her mind as she's thinking and getting distracted and procrastinating and wondering, having thoughts, sitting down at her computer, starting to type on the keyboard, making her coffee, going to the bathroom. It's very much in the body of this woman. And it's using that concept, but there's so much brilliance and warmth and humor and just reality in this book that I love so much. And it reminded me of why I love novels and how capacious they are as a form to make something as simple as a student going about her day, making it this revelatory, just mindscape of a novel that was just so much fun to read, and and it also felt like a book that felt like it was written with so much life and warmth. And it's a debut novel, so I'm very excited to read more from Rosalind Brown. But this one, I think if you liked The Guest Lecture by Martin Riker, The Novelist by Jordan Castro, those 2 books I feel like are kind of, if you put those 2 together, that's what this book is. It's very philosophical and playful, and using a condensed format for the telling of the story to kind of talk about something even more bigger and grand and philosophical through that concision. So I love that one. And then finally, I want to give a shout out to this little short story collection called Cheap Therapist Says You're Insane by Parker Young. This is a collection of flash fiction and short stories. A lot of it's stories in 1 to 2 pages, but this book is brilliant. I had this on my shelf for a year now. It was recommended to me by Matthew Binder, author of Pure Cosmos Club, who came on my podcast last summer, and I picked up a copy, and it's just been kind of sitting on my shelves, and I was in a little bit of a slump, and I was I need something quick and just that I can read very fast. And I was I need a short story collection. I was looking at my shelves. I saw this little tiny, slim little thing from an indie press, and I was let me try this. When I tell you I opened the book and did not put it down until I finished it 3 hours later. This book is so funny. It is so smart. It is using the short form and humor to... It's so hard to explain this book in a way that encapsulates all of it, because it's Flash. So how do you summarize a collection of many stories of Flash? But it kind of leans into my favorite sort of kind of contemporary short story style of kind of Ottessa Moshfegh meets Paul Dalla Rosa meets Mary South meets a little bit of Emma Klein in there. It's these kind of short, spiky, funny, kind of weird, kind of oddball characters. And it just has that sort of pithy, dry wit to it that's also very smart in its telling, that I just adore so much. So I guess I would say the Ottessa reader would love this book. It's kind of different from her work because it's not as it's not as like narrative, I would say, in terms of like having these longer stories following a character for like a length of time, but it has like that soul, that heart to it that I love so much. And so if you're looking for like a quick collection of Flash, I think Parker Young is so smart. I want to see him like blow up, and I hope more people read this book, especially because it's from an indie press. I just feel like I needed to shout it out here as well because like I was blown away by it. And it reminds me I need to read more small pubs, indie presses as well. So those are like my 5 faves so far of the year. Okay, that is my video. I hope you all enjoyed this, and I hope to be back very soon with a more comprehensive overview of what I've read this year. Yeah, and if you have any feedback on anything that I said, any more questions, let me know. But I'm very excited to be back, and apologize for being gone for so long. I just needed a little time to myself and to think about what I want to do with this. And I'm still thinking through it. So, who knows? But trying to take the pressure off. But anyways, I will catch you all in the next one. Bye.